Alright, what's up everybody? We're back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today, we're going to be talking about the NBA All-Star Reserves. They were announced yesterday. And yeah, we're going to talk about them, some snubs, maybe who made it, who didn't make it, all stuff like that in today's video. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, stuff like that. I really appreciate it. Really upset a lot. If you don't know, if you missed it, we did hit 500 subscribers recently, so thank you guys again for that. I really appreciate it. And yeah, look to my Twitter, TikTok, stuff like that in the description down below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. Also, real quick, so I made the announcement at the end of the last video, but I probably should do it at the beginning of videos. But next Thursday, the NBA trade deadline on February 8th, we're going to be going live. We're going to be doing a live trade reaction. I can tell every trade live as they come in for a couple hours. The details of what time it's going to start and all that will come out eventually. I'm still working on that, but just, in case you missed it, I'm going to tell you next Thursday, we're doing a live trade deadline reaction. I think it's going to be really fun. So yeah, if you're around, come through, for our first live stream. Hopefully you have many. So yeah, we're going to get into it, but now let's get into the real video. So last night, TNT, the NBA All-Star Reserves were announced for the West and the East. And of course, everyone knew, a lot of people are going to be talking about it. There's so many great players in the NBA. Someone's going to miss out. And yeah, we saw some players miss out. So we'll start in the Western Conference first. Reserves in the West are, so we have Devin Booker, Steph Curry, Anthony Davis, Anthony Edwards, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Karl-Anthony Towns. We're going to stay in the West first. In my 2024 NBA All-Star Ballot video that I did last week, I did last week before the starters were announced, I had most of these guys on here. The only one that I did not have was Karl-Anthony Towns. I personally had De'Aaron Fox as my last wildcard spot, but they gave it to Karl-Anthony Towns. And there's a lot of talk, and I even tweeted about it, that none of De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis, neither of them made the All-Star game, which I was very surprised by because I thought at least one of those Kings players are going to make it because they deserve to make it. They've been very good this season. The Kings right now, they're the 5th seed in the Western Conference. They're 27-19. Both of those guys are playing great. De'Aaron Fox, even though he has kind of been going down recently, De'Aaron's giving you 27 points per game, having a career season. He's giving you 27, 4, and 5 with over 1.5 steals, shooting 46% from the field, 38% from 3. While Domantas Sabonis has been one of the best players in the NBA in the last month and a half. He's averaging 20 points, 13 rebounds, 8 assists, shooting 61% from the field. And they're winning. They're the 5th seed, so I thought that was a great marker to get at least one of those guys in. And literally, while I was doing my All-Star ballot, my last spot was literally picking between one of those two Kings players, De'Aaron or Domantas. I ultimately ended up picking De'Aaron, but Domantas had a great case as well. But neither of those guys make the All-Star team, which, again, I'm going to say like snubs and stuff like that, but everyone that made the All-Star team this year deserves to make the All-Star team, I'm not saying this to like belittle anybody saying, oh, he shouldn't have been in it or anything like that, because all these guys at the end of the day deserve to be All-Stars. There's so many great players in this league right now. Someone's gonna miss out. And unfortunately, it was both of the Kings guys, De'Aaron and Domantas Sabonis, who have both been having amazing seasons. But you had them, other players in the running, Alperen Sengun. I kind of realized late in the year he probably wasn't gonna make it. The team started losing more games and stuff. They're gonna miss out. None of the Pelicans guys made it either. They were the 16th in the East. The West. They don't have All-Star. I also did not have any Pelicans on my personal All-Star ballot list, just because none of one of those Bi or Zion, none of them are really having All-Star, not All-Star, but they're not having like amazing numbers-wise season. The Pelicans have kind of been up and down, so I kind of understood that. I thought if a team in the playoff picture in the West wasn't going to have an All-Star, it was going to be the Pelicans, but it was Pelicans and the Kings, and I'm not having an All-Star. But everyone else I'm fine with. Devin Booker, honestly, I didn't really have him on my All-Star ballot till late. He started putting up great numbers. He also missed a lot of time, so I thought he wasn't eligible, but then I saw he was eligible. And yeah, Devin Booker's been great. Steph Curry, obviously, there's been a lot to talk about. Oh, but he's a 12th seed and stuff. Let's be honest here. It's Steph Curry. Like, Kobe Bryant was making All-Star starters. He was the 15th seed. Like, it's Steph. When you're get to that level, like, who cares? He's going to make the All-Star team. Anthony Davis, well-deserved, having an amazing All-Star type season. Anthony Edwards, of course, Minnesota Timberwolves, their number 1 seed. They've been one of the top seeds in the West for a while. Of course, they're going to get at least one. Anthony Edwards has been great. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard from the Clippers. The Clippers have been one of the best, if not the best team in the league in the past, 2 months. Again, in the last 2 months, they've only lost 5 games. They get both of those guys, and both of those guys are healthy and playing well. And then Karl-Anthony Towns, that was a surprise to me, honestly. I did not have Cat on my All-Star ballot. I had him as a snub. Obviously, I considered him, but he makes it. And yeah, I mean, he's having a good season. You know, if there's someone I had to take off the list to put maybe one of the Kings guys, it would be Cat. But I mean, I can't really discredit Cat. I mean, Cat's averaging 22, 8, and 3, shooting 52, 44, 87, shooting almost 50, 40, 90 as a center, you know, and well above 40, 50, and 40. He's almost at the 90. He's at 87% for the free throw line. He's having a great season. And team success also matters a lot in it. You know, the Minnesota Timberwolves they're currently the 1 seed in the West. They have been the top seed or one of the top seeds in the West the entirety of the year, and they get awarded with 2 All-Stars. And usually when you're a top seed in the West and stuff, you usually get awarded 2 All-Stars. And Minnesota did with Ant and Cat. So shout out to Cat and Ant for both making the All-Star team. But yeah, the West, that was really the only thing in the West was Demonis and De'Aaron. You know, one of the Kings guys didn't make it, which sucks for Sacramento. But, you know, there's so many guys in the West. There's so many great players in the Western Conference. You know, it's tough to, you know, it's tough. But unfortunately, they didn't make it. And then going to the East side, the reserves we have Bam Adebayo, Paolo Banchero, Jaylen Brown, Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Maxey, Donovan Mitchell, and Julius Randle. I almost got everybody in the reserves. I did not have Julius Randle. I had Trae Young. Literally, my last reserve spot was between Julius Randle. Oh, no, actually, I had Trae Young in my spot. Wait, did I? I'm trying to remember. I'm sorry. I had my All-Star ballot. I had Donovan Mitchell and Tyrese Halliburton as starters. I had Jalen Brunson and Tyrese Maxey off the bench. And then my guards, and then my wild cards, I had Trae Young and Julius Randle as my guards because I did not have Damian Lillard in my original ballot making the All-Star game, but he made it as a starter. So I was like, now one of those guys, Trae Young, Julius Randle. I even thought maybe Paolo, one of those 3 was going to get cut. And Trae Young, unfortunately, did not make the game. But yeah, it's tough. Trae Young's having another phenomenal season. I mean, he's averaging 27 points and 10 assists per game, basically almost 11 assists per game this season. You know, this is the 3rd time in NBA history that a player averaging 25 and 10 is not gonna make the All-Star game, and Trae Young is 2 of those 10, 2 of those 3. The other one I think is I forgot who. I think it's like Michael Adams or something in the 90s. Didn't make the All-Star game. But yeah, Trae Young, another year where he did not make the All-Star team, even though he's having an amazing season, amazing numbers. But again, winning has become a big thing in the All-Star game, and the Hawks right now are 7 games under 500 at the 10 seed, and it's tough to really make an All-Star game like that unless you're on the level of a Stephen Curry or a Kobe Bryant. You know, that's really the only guys that, no matter what the record is, they're going to make it. So really, if you're under 500 and stuff, your chances are slim of making the All-Star game, you know. But everyone else, you know, I like it. Bam Adebayo, Miami, obviously. Jaylen Brown, Boston, of course. I mean, they've been the best team in the league by far. They're going to get 2 All-Stars. Donovan Mitchell, the Cavs have been absolutely balling recently. Donovan Mitchell's having a great season. And then we get a couple first-timers. Paolo Banchero, I was super happy that Paolo made it, man. I honestly was kind of worried that he wasn't going to make that game because with Damian Lillard starting, it kind of was like, dang. So one of these guys might not make it. Julius Randle might make it because he's been good. Paolo might be cut out, you know, because the Magic have been really struggling recently. But Paolo makes the All-Star game in his 2nd year. Shout out to Paolo, man. First of many to come. Tyrese Maxey. Obviously, he's been having an amazing season. The Sixers have been a really good team in the Eastern Conference. They get 2 All-Stars. Tyrese Maxey right now is the MIP. And then he celebrated yesterday with having a 51-point game, and they won. So Tyrese had just one of the best days ever. You know, get selected to your first All-Star team, drop 50, and win. You know, and then Jalen Brunson, obviously, everyone thought he probably should have been the starter in the Eastern Conference in the All-Star game, and he gets his All-Star nod for the Knicks, and he also puts up 40 last night in a win. So yeah, shout out to Jalen Brunson, well-deserved All-Star. And then Julius Randle, of course, makes All-Star game. So this is the first time since, 2013 that 2 Knicks have made the All-Star game. But unfortunately, Julius Randle with a shoulder injury will not be able to play, most likely, in the All-Star game. And also Joel Embiid, who is a starter. We found out yesterday has a meniscus injury, and he's going to be out. We don't know how long yet, but like Adam Silver, I guess there's reports that Adam Silver is already kind of thinking of who's going to be a replacement. So the East, we're going to have 2 replacements for Joel Embiid and for Julius Randle. So that means one of them is going to be Trae Young. It's got to be Trae Young. I mean, he's got to make it now. And now I've been thinking about who's going to be that second replacement in the East. You got a couple different ways you can go here, I think. One way they can go is they can go for having another new All-Star representing a new team in there, and that's Scotty Barnes of the Raptors. I mean, he's giving you 28 and almost 6, a steal, 1.5 blocks, shooting 47% from the field, 36% from 3. 76% for the free throw line. He's having an amazing season. 22 years old. Maybe if they want to go that way and have a new guy, new team selected, new all-star in there, they can go with the Scotty Barnes route, or most likely they're going to go with having another guy on a team that's already had an all-star selected in. Looking around, the all-star game is in Indiana, so maybe Miles Turner was the guy that I was talking about. Miles Turner, he's averaging 17, 7, almost 2 blocks, shooting 51% for the field, 33% for 3. Or do they put Pascal in? Do they put Pascal in the all-star game? He's only been in Indiana for 8 games, but on the entirety of the year, he's averaging 22, 6, and 5, shooting 52% from the field, 32% from 3. Does he make the all-star team now that he's in Indiana? He was an all-star last couple of years. Maybe does he make it? Thinking about him. Jared Allen has a good case out in Cleveland. The Cavs, again, have been one of the hottest teams in the league recently. He's averaging 15, 10, 3 assists, and a block, shooting 64% of the field. He's had a double-double in like 16 or 17 consecutive games now. He's been amazing in the last month. Do they give it to maybe another Celtic? With the Celtics being the top team in the East, people talk about Porzingis, but I don't think Porzingis is gonna make it. He's missed. They played in 49 games. He's played in 35, so he's missed 14 games this year. So I don't know if they're gonna give it to Porzingis, but maybe does Derek White actually make the All-Star game? Give you 15, 4, and 4, a steal, a block, 45% from the field, 39% from 3. Reggie Miller, really wants him. Does Derek White make the All-Star game as a replacement? Who knows? There's a lot of different ways they can go here in the East. Again, they can go Derek White to reward the Celtics with being the best team in the league. They get 3 All-Stars. Cavalier, Jared Allen. The Cavs have been really hot recently. Did they reward him with an All-Star appearance? The game's in Indiana. Usually when you're in your hometown, you get a little bias. Do they give Pascal and Miles Turner that nod? Again, does Scotty Barnes, first-time All-Star representing a new team in Toronto, does he get to make it? It's going to be very interesting to see who that second replacement is going to be, because one of them is got to be Trae Young. If it's not Trae Young, then the NBA fumbled this. But Trae Young is going to be one, and I don't know who the other one's going to be. Very interesting to see. But, yeah, those are your All-Stars for each conference, and, a couple snubs, obviously. It's really tough to make the All-Star game now, and honestly, a lot of people talk about this. I know JJ Redick did a whole thing on this, but why don't we expand the All-Star game? Why is the All-Star game still 12 players? There's 30 teams now in the league. The talent is at an all-time high, and it's only going to keep going, every year. Why are we not making the All-Star game, expanding the All-Star game? Because especially when the way contracts and stuff work, All-Star teams are huge. Not only for, players, for fan bases, organizations. Guy made All-Star game, you're, campaigning for him to make the All-Star game, and then he makes it, and you're like, yes, he gets represented. All-Star weekend among some of the greatest in the NBA. For fan bases, organizations, it's like, dang, he made the All-Star team. We gotta consider this guy different now. For the players, obviously, you get validated as, I'm an All-Star, I'm one of the best players in the league. And then for contracts as well, which is one big important thing, especially with younger players like maybe a Tyrese Maxey or a Paolo Banchero or something like that, that can really determine, future money, future contracts and incentives and stuff like that. And unfortunately, some of these guys might not make the All-Star team because there's only 12 players and there's only so many limited spots, even though they're playing like an All-Star level type guy, So why we should expand the All-Star game? I should say give 2 extra spots, make it 14 players. 14 players, All-Star team. You get the starters, then you get off the bench, you get 3 guards, 3 forwards, and 3 wild cards. That's 14 right there. 9 reserves. I think that would be the best thing for the NBA and for everything, get some more guys in there, expand, and, with the NBA. I mean, again, there's so many, the talent level at the NBA is at an all-time high right now. I think we should be expanding, the NBA All-Star game rosters. But, that's the All-Star team reserves for now. We're going to see who the replacements are going to be eventually for the Eastern Conference for Joel and Julius. And, yeah, very excited for this All-Star game, man. Very, very excited. But yeah, it's going to be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, enjoyed the content around here. Consider subscribing, turn notifications, also like that. I really appreciate it. Really upset a lot. And, I'll see you guys tomorrow.